Out in Free State, along a quiet road that most people never really travel, there is a farm that feels frozen in time. The fences are broken, the barns are empty, and the wind moves through those old structures like it's searching for something. Maybe the workers that never came, maybe the cattle that was never really even kept there. But what makes this place truly unsettling is not what you see, it's what you don't see. Because this farm was supposed to be full of life. It was supposed to be a flagship agricultural project that was meant to bring opportunity to some of the most poorest farmers in that province. Instead, it became the stage for one of South Africa's most infamous scandals, a project where nearly 220 million rand was poured into a vision that somehow produced no cows, no milk, no farmers, no future. Wait, what happened? This is the story of the dairy farm that never was and the money that very much was. In 2013, the Free State government launched a big and very exciting project, the Vrede Integrated Dairy Farm, a partnership between the Provincial Department of Agriculture and a company called Estina. It was sold to the public as a transformation miracle, I can say. Local small-scale farmers were told they would become shareholders. Jobs were promised, and a state-of-the-art dairy was promised. But here's where the story gets weird. Estina had no experience in dairy, they had no track record, and according to the investigative journalists who did the story, barely any equipment was there, yet somehow they secured a contract worth 220 million rand, structured in a way that avoided the usual procurement rules. And once the money started flowing, things got even stranger. When the Special Investigating Unit later went through the project paperwork, they found a financial trail that made zero sense. Millions were paid for things that were never delivered, cows that didn't exist, equipment that never arrived, staff that were never hired, and the local farmers completely sidelined. Journalists from Amapungane discovered that a large portion of the money was allegedly diverted through gupta-linked companies. Now, the project didn't uplift any local farmers. It didn't boost the dairy industry. It didn't create the promised jobs. All it did was collapse completely. And the people who were supposed to benefit were basically left with nothing, dust. As the evidence mounted, the SIU stepped in. And their findings confirmed what the journalists had already uncovered, that the procurement irregularities, mismanagement, and the possible criminal conduct were all very present. Criminal actions were then launched, assets were frozen, and then court cases followed. And the Zondo Commission then exposed the political connections that were behind this entire scheme. One senior official was eventually arrested, but to this day, the full chain of accountability is still winding its way through the courts. So what was the Estina Dairy Farm really? A government project, a development opportunity, or maybe just a blueprint for how hundreds of millions of rands can disappear in broad daylight? I'm not sure which part of the story shocks the most. The empty farm, the missing cows, or the very, very large 220 million rand that just, well, vanished.